Right, Mercedes Sprinter 903. This one's 2003, and this is about the boost pressure low error code and limp mode. So I've had this van for about 4 years now, and I struggled for about a year and a half trying to get it out of limp mode, the infamous Sprinter limp mode. It wasn't doing it all of the time. It was only when it was on the motorway, going around 60, strong headwinds, bang, into limp mode. Have to turn the key off and on, and it'll be good again, sometimes for quite a long time. It was only really on the motorway. It wasn't town driving or driving down country lanes or up hills or anything, which is quite bizarre really, because normally it just gets worse and worse from what I've read and seen on the internet. But this is what I know about fault finding and what I did to get it fixed really. I finally got to the bottom of the issue, and I think she's all fixed now. I haven't taken her for a really long extended run, but motorway driving since has been a-okay. But yeah, it was a year of headaches basically. And there's lots of videos on the internet about these vans from 2000 to 2006, but quite a lot of them are in America, and they're a little bit different, but there's some good channels out there. I'm sure you may have come across, like Florida Van Man, but they've always got the EGR and a few different things going on with the engine. The engine's slightly different. So yeah, I'll just tell you what I changed and a bit about the system really. So I was getting turbo pressure low, and what happens basically is, here's the vacuum pump here, and this goes down to a solenoid just below the air filter box, and that solenoid takes that vacuum pressure from the vacuum pump, and it goes down to the turbo actuator, which opens the turbo. So when you turn on your engine, this here, don't know if you can see that very well, this bit here should go all the way down from the vacuum pressure, and that means that your turbo spines are open, and as you drive it will regulate it. This will flick up and down as far as I know. So yeah, but I was having issues where boost pressure low was the code, and this, I'll tell you what I changed, what I started with, and yeah, how I finally resolved it. So the first thing you really want to check is that you're getting vacuum pressure and it's not getting lost along the way. So it's coming down from this vacuum pump here down into, what's that, that's the master cylinder, down these lines and into the actuator down there. There's also a line that splits off from here, which gets forgotten about quite often, and that goes over the top of the bulkhead and down into here. So this is one you also want to check for boost leaks, as it's all part of the same system, and this just controls the recirculation of the blower, the air conditioning kind of unit in the van. But if this is leaking, I mean, this has got tape around it at the moment, but if this is leaking, then it's going to actually affect your turbo, as far as I'm aware. So you always want to check this line as well. Mine was pretty perished there, wasn't too bad. You see I've cut it back. This is probably a good bit of rubber, but I've also stuck some gap around it. Could probably use something else in the future. But this just controls a flap in the back here for the recirculating blower motor. So you always want to check that these rubbers are not perished here and here. I'll show you that when it's on later, how it works. Just to close this flap here for recirculating. So you want to check that. You want to check none of these are brittle or cracked. And yeah, that they're all fine. These rubbers are fine. It's all going in nicely. There's no leaks there. So down at the solenoid, there's also a reservoir here. There's a connection between the two. Best way to get down to that solenoid is take out this front headlamp here on the left hand side of me. So if you're driving in the UK, be the right hand headlamp. And that's how you're gonna see that and be able to access that well. You can take off this box here, but it's a pain getting it in and out, and I wouldn't really advise it. So yeah, from the solenoid down there, there is a vacuum line which puts the pressure on the bottom of the actuator. So I'll dip down there now and show you that from underneath. Hopefully there's enough light. So having to block that off now to get a bit more light so the camera can adjust, but this is coming from your solenoid to your turbo actuator, which pulls down that arm and opens the splines of your turbo to give you boost. So this line here, this vacuum line, you want to check that and make sure that it's not perished, it's in good condition, and they're pretty easy to replace. You could pick some line up from Euro car parts or any kind of car part dealer for very, very cheap. So yeah, replace that if that's perished. Right, we'll go back up top now. So if you've checked that, you've checked your vacuum lines. There's a few other things that can go wrong. Like I said, this is 2003 model and doesn't have EGR valve. So it's just a straight pipe. Pressure comes down here, in, and then the pressure will come through here, through your intercooler. This all gets cooled by you driving. So it cools the air, come back out here and into these pipes. So you want to check that the hose clamps are all nice on all of the pipes. You want to check the pipes for splitting and that there's no cracks. Here there's, can't really see it, tiny bit of crackage, but I pressure tested this whole system and it's not leaking. And same with down here on the charge side as it goes into the intercooler. Check those Jubilee clips and check that the pipes are good. Okay, as you can see down here, you've got two sensors. Not many sensors or electronics on this model, but yeah, both of these, if they're faulty, they can also flag the computer, the ECU, charge pressure low, and that can put your Sprinter into limp mode. So down here we got the MAF airflow sensor. You want to check that. You can check it with a multimeter, or you can pick one up for pretty cheap. So you want to replace that if you've checked all your pipes and vacuum lines. They're all good. Yeah, you want to replace that. That will be one of your first ports of call. I replaced mine. See, it's a bit greasy down there. It's also where charged air could be coming out, but yeah, that wasn't the fault with mine. Yeah, and then here we've got your boost pressure control sensor. You want to replace that. Pick this one up from Mercedes dealership. That was about 50-60 pounds. So that's another port of call. These are, you know, two relatively cheap fixes that you want to try. So you're just eliminating it one by one, going through, and just process of elimination to try and find what is wrong or what is putting your sprinter into limp mode. So once you've done both of those, hopefully your sprinter will be fixed from either one of them. But if it's not, you could even do this before as well. But yeah, you can pressure test the whole system from here. You can pressure test it at a garage and they'll just test there's no leaks, because sometimes it is hard to find the leaks. So there we go. And then I did all of that, and it was quite weird really, because like I said, the sprinter was only going into limp mode in certain conditions, and normally they just get worse and worse if you've got a faulty solenoid valve, which in my case I did. And normally people replace this pretty straight away, which is kind of what I should have done, but I was just very confused about the circumstances that was going into limp mode. But yeah, we checked it as well. We checked the ohms. I think new they are meant to be around 15 or 14 to 15 ohms, and on my old one it was reading pretty good. It was about 13, 14 ohms, which should be fine from everything I found online. But after I'd done all those things, checked for no vacuum leaks, replaced any perished rubber on the vacuum lines, checked the charged air lines, checked they were all good, pressure tested the whole system, changed the MAF and the boost control sensor. I thought, you know, well, I'm gonna have to just change the solenoid. That's the next port of call. Otherwise I thought it might be an ECU fault, but I changed that, and even though the other one seemed good, was reading the right ohms, and yeah, it wasn't really getting worse. It was just only in those very specific conditions that it would go into limp mode. After I've changed it, I haven't had any problems since, so fingers crossed with that one. Anyway, I hope this video helps. I thought I'd just make it, as yeah, there's not that many or any comprehensive videos that I could find about fault finding for boost control pressure low on these vans. Old beaten up Sprinter 903 with 2.1 litre engine. It's a 611 OM 611. So I hope this has helped someone, because it can be a bloody nightmare checking these faults down. I'll just turn the engine on now, and I'll just show you the circulation for the blur motor and what that actually does. So there we go, we've got her running away now nicely, and yeah, show you what this vacuum does for the blur motor. It's a bit silly that it's linked onto the vacuum for your turbo as well, but it is. So if we come in the cab here, get this button down, turns red. You see that flap has closed now. What I can do actually is just take the vacuum line off and you'll see it go down. So that's back on. Here now, if I pull this vacuum line off, there we go, loses pressure. Back on, pressure's back on. So say this has come loose, just lost pressure there. As you can see, the shaft of the actuator is down now. Hopefully you'll be able to hear this. We'll take this off. Lost pressure there. And it's gone back up. So, you always want to check this as well when looking for leaks in your system. that gauge missed quite a lot. Back in the Luton now. It's a different day, change of outfit. Finished work recently, but I just thought I'd wrap this video up by saying yeah, I hope this has helped with fault finding any limp mode issues you've got with your Sprinter 903, especially looking for that boost pressure low error code. Yeah, I'm not a qualified mechanic, just to let you know, just a DIYer, but yeah, little disclaimer there. I also found a really good article about how the whole system works when I was troubleshooting this problem, so I'll try and link that in the comment section below. Anyway, I really hope this helps someone somewhere, and thanks for watching.